employees recently, 6 to be exact. The reason, parent company Gray Media Group mandated all their employees to get the COVID-19 vaccine by October 1st. So on October 1st, Dan Thomas, KXII's evening anchorman, found himself without a job for exercising his choice for medical freedom. So let's give a Grayson County welcome to Dan Thomas.
All right, thank you. What a great crowd. Give yourselves an applause here. Yeah, it's a fantastic group. Thanks for coming out tonight. Am I talking too loud already? If I stand over here, yeah, that's like the sweet spot here for the reverb. All right, so yeah, first of all, I just want to say thanks for you all coming out today. Fantastic turnout here. I can tell a lot of people are very concerned about this issue. Tom and I and 2 other KXII employees were fired, as they said, October 1st. And you know, 21 years in the news business. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for having me out here tonight so I had an excuse to wear these suits. Got a lot of money invested in these things, so it's nice to have a reason to put them on. I get tired of seeing them hanging in the closet there. But in all seriousness, though, I just want to say thank you to my wife, my daughter, who's not here. She's at dance tonight. And my 2-year-old son, Logan, you'll probably hear him chime in a few times over here. He doesn't like to be left alone too often. So they're over there in the corner. If you get a chance, say hi and thank you to them for tagging along in this crazy journey here. You know, this isn't a position that I ever wanted to be in. This was, how do I try this?
Hey,
Man, do I even need the mic?
Hold the mic closer.
A little bit closer? All right, like that? All right. You know, this isn't a position that I ever wanted to be in. You know, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but I think it's going to start happening to a lot more people. If this is how it has to be, then I guess we just need to get the truth out. So I'm not going to go too deep into my story. I've already said my piece on Facebook. I don't know if you all have seen that. Facebook.com. You can put up that slide. It's Facebook. Oh, all right. All right, all right. It's facebook.com/DanNewsman12. I've got a video on there that explains the situation. I won't get into that, waste a lot of time here tonight because I know we're on a time crunch. We've got a lot of other great speakers here tonight. But essentially, I had a medical reason. I couldn't get the vaccine. Turned in my paperwork. My doctor said I couldn't get it. Turns out it's not just my doctor, but the actual CDC and the pharmacy I walked into turned me away. I'm not allowed to get it, so they didn't allow an accommodation. They said I would be too much of a burden on the company to get the vaccine. So on October 1st, that's when they fired me. You can learn more about that if you want to go to my website at Dan Newsman 12 on Facebook there. Quick background on me, though. I wasn't always a journalist. I grew up working on washers and dryers. My parents have an appliance store in the Oklahoma City area. So I learned a lot of things there. You know, I learned how to make a sale, learned how to work on washers and dryers and refrigerators, learned how to deliver a 24 cubic foot refrigerator by myself without tearing up someone's house. So I've got some skills to fall back on if anybody needs a washer and dryer first. You just hit me up. I can help you out. You know, a lot of people are under a lot of pressure with this mandate, and I hope you understand where it's all coming from. It's not just that every employer in the country woke up a couple of months ago and said, hey, we got to force people to have this vaccine or you're going to get fired. No, it came from somewhere. And we'll kind of go back to where I think it sort of started from the federal government. But first off, I want to give a quick look at where we're headed. You know, we talked about House Bill 155 in the Texas legislature. Our Representative Reggie Smith just signed on to co-sponsor that bill, we found out today. He also talked to Tom and I a couple of days ago, just before the governor issued that executive order. So somebody up there is listening, I can tell you that. Yeah. And so don't feel like we get out here, we do these kind of things. People are listening. I want you guys to know that we're going to be heard, and I want to do everything I can to make sure that people get heard from here on out. The pressure, I think, started, I don't know if you can see this quote here. This is about a month ago. I think everybody's aware Joe Biden had this mandate, 100 employees or more, and you have to mandate the vaccine. The quote was, he was at a schoolyard playground and they asked him about it, and he said, "We're playing for real, this isn't a game." And I think maybe it takes a little while for people to catch up and realize that I don't want you to be the next one being fired before you realize they're playing for real, this isn't a game. That's a direct quote from the President of the United States. And he left it up to OSHA. So he puts out this mandate, 100 employees or more, and just completely left it up to OSHA to come up with all the guidelines for how to do it. OSHA has not done that yet. But there is a bill in Congress right now. It's called the Reconciliation Bill. It's $3.5 trillion. And one of the key parts of this is OSHA is going to have to come up with all the ticky-tack little guidelines that everybody's going to have to be following to truly implement this mandate. But one thing that we do know is that in this bill right now, and it's not been passed, Title 29, U.S. Code 666. Can't make this stuff up, this is true. It increases the fine for willful or repeated. Willful or repeated. So if they just do it once, and you don't have a vaccinated employee who maybe skips a test, yet that happens to you one time, right now it's a $70,000 fine. If this bill passes, that will be a $700,000 fine on a business with 100 people. That's going to bankrupt people. Happens twice, $1.4 million. That's if OSHA deems it willful, or even if it's an accident and it happens twice, $700,000 per incident. That's where we're at in this country. So that's a little bit about where we're headed. That's what we're facing right now. That hasn't passed yet. Now you might think, hey, there's people of common sense, right? Somebody has common sense up there in Washington. Well, no way that can get passed, right? Well, I'm going to show you a little something about what happened back in April. This was a bill that this started as from the White House. This is on the White House's website right now. This is a tax credit that they issued for small and medium-sized businesses. So it's $511 that the business owner gets for every employee made sick by the vaccination, up to 10 days. So that's $5,000 right there per employee. So what kind of incentive is that for a small business owner to make sure that everybody gets that shot, and if you get sick, well, we can cash in? So that's a one program that is passed. That was law. The deadline, by the way, October 1st. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anybody else in this room. We work for a much larger company, but there's another pot of money out there too. I want to show you this real quick, and we'll get to some other speakers. This is Health and Human Services right here. This is part of a $10 billion fund that came out of an earlier bill that was passed this year. This is $10 billion to encourage vaccines. And what it does is it gets a hold of media companies for a vaccine awareness campaign. It includes advertising buys, hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising buys that comes out of that fund. And it includes also an interesting thing that I found today. Not only does it encourage discounts for individuals, product giveaways, messaging in the store, point of purchase, it's going to be everywhere that you see it, and they make darn sure of it as you've lived and you've seen how it's everywhere you turn around. Oh, how does this celebrity just happen to be an expert on vaccines of all things? I thought he just played basketball, right? Well, no. This is a list of all of the influencers that have signed up to be part of the program. Well, I should say all of the influencers. This is just some of them that when it was first rolled out were there on day one. The NBA, NASCAR, the Recording Academy, the WNBA, Mark Cuban is part of that. Eva Longoria, names you recognize, are all part of this program. It's all being rolled out right now. It's all part of an influencing campaign made to make you think that you're alone. To make you think that if your doctor's telling you not to get the vaccine, well, maybe I ought to go ahead and do it. Maybe I ought to walk into that pharmacy and lie to them about my medical history. Maybe I have to do that just to keep my job, or maybe I have to do it just because I saw some celebrity telling me it was the right thing to do. That's a purposeful thing that's already happened in this country. So I just wanted to sum up. That's the American Recovery Plan was the one that one was. That was only a 243-page bill and only $1.9 trillion. That's just a small part of where that money got spread around. The reconciliation bill, by the way, that's 2,465 pages. I don't know if any human on the planet has read it, but one key thing that they do is that they tell them, even if you do read the bill itself, they tell these department heads, here's $10 billion, raise awareness. And so they get to spend it any way they can to do this general guideline that your congressman's voting on. So that's how things are getting passed. That's how some of our money has been spent. As for what you can do, I get people asking me about every 10 minutes, messaging me on Facebook, and thank God for you. What can you do? I think the best thing that we can do right now is share. You can share my video. We can share information. I've got something posted right now that has links to everything that I've just told you. You can read it for yourself. You can share it with your friends. Stick to things that you can source so that people can't argue with you. Something your cousin told you somewhere or you heard somewhere else, stick to the facts. The truth will get out there. If we get the truth out, we can maybe return some sanity to this world. All right, that's all I have, guys. Thank you so much.